how do you calculate the value of your time? Time is your most valuable asset. It's not about how much time we have. We know we have very less time left in the world, but it's about how wisely you use it. Even the richest man on earth, if a minute has passed, he can never buy back that time, irrespective of how rich or poor he is. When I look at my return on investment, ROI, I always look at return on my time invested. There's also the saying, right? If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go really far, you go together as a team. That's why I embrace my team. I love working as a team. You don't want to hire one person for your video editing, one person for podcast editing, one person for email marketing, one person for CRM setup. We are a one-stop agency that has all these different expertise.
Are you a business owner struggling to generate leads and close sales? Does it feel like without the right marketing and sales strategies, your business is just an expensive hobby? If this sounds familiar, you are in the right place. My name is Dr. Priya Jagannathan, digital product strategist and business automation expert specializing in marketing and sales strategies. This podcast is designed for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to take control of their business operations, supercharge their marketing efforts, and drive growth through strategic CRM and business automation. In every episode, we will dive deep into our Power Pivot framework, which basically involves your product and pricing, your online and offline presence, your warm lead generation strategies, evaluating your sales process, and creating retainer and retargeting existing client formula. Through this framework, even the smallest pivots can create massive business success. So, if you're ready to scale your business with simple, actionable strategies that combine the right marketing, automation, and CRM tips, you might want to listen to today's episode.
Hello, lovely listeners. Welcome back to our first podcast episode in 2025. Happy New Year. I really, really wish you the happiest of your New Year. This year, may this year be your best year yet. So this episode, I really, really want to hone my message around time, because all of us know we wish we had more time, right? So time is the ultimate currency. And I strongly believe the way you spend your time defines your success, defines your happiness, defines your growth, defines your year. And, towards the end of your life, when you reflect back, the only thing we regret is we should have chosen to spend our time wisely. So in this very first episode of this year, I'm going to be diving deep into helping you understand the value of time. And we're also going to be talking about delegation and how to use your time wisely to build a very successful business and a happy life. What is the point of having a successful business if you're not happy in our life? So I personally understood the value of time after moving to Australia, because here we get paid per hour, whereas in India, we get paid per month. So every hour of my time, when it was ticking, I knew it was money. There was a dollar value attached to every hour of my time. So I loved it. And one thing I changed is I stopped wasting time, because I understood time equals money. But then there was also another realization or an aha moment later down the track that if I'm going to be trading time for money, I'm going to work till I die. So that's how I was literally this girl in 2018, 2019, searching on Google how to make money while I sleep in the most legal, ethical way possible. And that's how I got into this whole online business world. I got sucked into Tai Lopez social media funnel, and then got into business coaching, then did a lot of marketing consultation, now completely niche down into the CRM and business automation space. So I really, really value time. And that's one thing that I really teach my kids as well, that time is very, very precious. Time equals money. Use your time wisely. So I really want you to understand, if there's one key message from this episode, it's going to be you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Even the richest man on earth, if a minute has passed, he can never buy back that time, irrespective of how rich or poor he is. So I really want you to understand that it's very, very important. And I also focus on something called ROTI, ROTI. Roti is Indian bread. But for me, when I look at my return on investment, ROI, I always look at return on my time invested. So that's the difference between return on investment. When people calculate ROI, it's basically what money did I get? What is the dollar value return on my investment? But I always look for return on my time investment, ROTI. If I'm going to be spending time, can be a business meeting, it can be a personal meeting, even friends, for example, if it's going to have a nasty aftertaste, that's kind of my, filter to choose if I'm going to continue that friendship, relationship, or if I'm going to ever meet them again. If they're going to give me a nasty aftertaste or make me question myself, oh my God, why did she say that? What did she mean by that? If there's going to be a lot of sarcasm and things that which is not a very transparent relationship, because I'm a very transparent person. You see me that I'm the same person online, offline, pretty much this is me kind of a person I am. So I really look for my time investment, my energy investment. I'm big on time and energy. So if they're going to give me creepy vibes, if they're going to give me low energy that's going to drag me down, I'm not going to speak to them. Okay. So I really want you to understand the value of ROI and ROTI. Don't just focus on the dollar value return on your investment. Also calculate return on your time invested, which means you're going to be really focusing on high value activities. Don't focus on low priority tasks. You go back to the episode that we've got on the 80-20 rule. So that's a very interesting episode that I recorded last year, which is 2024, literally like 4 days ago, that, you focus on 20% of the task that gives you 80% return on your investment, 80% results that you want. So the 80-20 rule episode will really help you to understand the activities that you have to focus to get your best return on your investment. So if you've never listened to that episode, go back and listen. It will be an eye opener. Okay, so I just want to understand, how do you calculate the value of your time? If you're in a Western country, you know the dollar value of every hour of your time. If you're an employee, if you're a 9 to 5, you know the value of every hour of your time. Most entrepreneurs do not factor the time. Okay, so most entrepreneurs think they can just sit and learn a social media course. They can just sit and learn and fidget. I spoke to one of my friend who owns a huge business. Okay, pretty much successful 6-figure business, has three full-time staffs in Australia, but spent 2 days of his time to design a flyer on Canva. So my question was, what's the dollar value of every hour of your time? How expensive is this Canva flyer that you designed? You could have got this done on Fiverr or Upwork for $50, $40, even $20. There are people who really can do that for $20. So why don't you factor the time? Why is it control freaks? People don't want to do it, or they just think that, oh, I can just do it. Why spend that $20, $50? I mean, it's definitely not worth it. I tend to scream into people's heads and ears and everywhere that it's not worth your time. Stop doing it. Okay, so I really want you to understand the power of delegation. So it's not about dumping your tasks, or it's not about you being lazy. It's really about understanding what's your strengths, what's your zone of genius, and just playing with your strengths. So there's also the saying, right? If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go really far, you go together as a team. That's why I embrace my team. I love working as a team, and I want each of my VAs to play with their strengths. So I've got one girl who's going to be editing this podcast and repurposing this podcast. I've got another person who's good at creating, email newsletters based on this podcast episode. I've got someone else working on creating the blog post on my CRM. So each and every one, instead of me being stingy and just having one person and trying to do it all in a messy way, I let them play with their strengths, because I want to go far. I just don't want to go fast and then crash. I want to go far. So that's why I'm building a team. team in India and Pakistan and everywhere possible so I can empower multiple families. In the meantime, there is a selfish ulterior motive that I want to go really, really far. I have big goals in life and I don't want to be stingy and calculating every dollar and be very, very conservative with my dreams. I don't want to do that. And people don't really understand that trying to do it all and trying to be it all really, really makes them burn out, and it actually slows them from growing their business. And there's lots of missed opportunities. I love selling. I just want to be the BD, business development officer for my company. I just want to do that. But now I am the BD. I am the person doing the strategy. I oversee all the operations for my team. I kind of train my team, hire them, fire them. I do pretty much the work of two different companies together, but I've got different people doing different things. I still haven't reached a place where I can just do the BD. That's where I want to be. I want 10 mini me's that can do the task that I'm doing, but I'm in the process of getting things done. So I've already delegated. I'm doing leadership training for my team to step up and do my job so I can actually free up those tasks and I can just focus on what I love doing, which is just selling, bringing clients in, lead generation. That's my jam. That's kind of my strength. So I really want every business owner to understand that their job is to focus on their strength and focus on high priority jobs that's going to give them 80% results what they want to achieve in just 20% efforts and time and energy, right? It really, really helps you to free up a lot of time doing what you love. If you want to spend time with your family, you can do that. It really increases productivity of your team, of your business, and you will have a scalable business. If your business is completely dependent on you, when I was in the business coaching world, that's how I felt. I couldn't sell a business. When I spoke to a business broker, she said, I can't sell your business because you are the business. I cannot take you out of the equation because there'll be no business without you, Priya. So that made me think, I want to build a business to sell. I want to build an asset for my kids to have when I leave, right? So I want to build a scalable business. And the only way to do that is to build a team and delegate the tasks and understand that your time is much more valuable than the admin repetitive mundane task that you're trying to do, which is not worth your time. Okay, so let's look at some practical tips. I love to give you all practical tips to do it. So the very first simple task, okay, maybe it's New Year's, so you're not really in your work day, like a typical work day, but I want you to think in a typical work day, how much of your time is spent doing things that you shouldn't be doing, you don't want to be doing, but you just do it, like the most of the admin tasks, repetitive tasks, which doesn't bring you clients, which doesn't, grow your income, impact, influence. Those are the 3 I's that I like. But they have to be done for compliance sake. You have to have some documentation done. It's part of the game. But you are not the one to be doing it. So I want you to audit and write down those tasks that really is not worth your time. And I also want you to identify the task that just makes you roll your eyes, that just drains your energy, and you clearly know that's not your expertise. For me, bookkeeping, reconciling is not my jam. I don't like doing it. That's why I've got a bookkeeper. Imagine if I don't want to pay a bookkeeper and I keep doing it by rolling my eyes, and I hate it when I just look at my zero. I just hate what I do. So I don't want to be doing that, right? Even an hour doing that is a waste of my time. I could rather spend time with my family or just put my feet up and watch Netflix if that's what I want to do, right? So I want you to identify those tasks, and then I want you to identify the things that you can actually let go by hiring a virtual assistant. Trust me, it's really, really such a game changer having a virtual assistant to work for you. I know a lot of businesses that hire from the Philippines. I tend to keep my team with India because that's my passion. So I have a separate company called VA Agency in India, and I train women to become financially independent. The reason I started that company is because I know my colleagues, past colleagues, who are equally qualified like me with a DR prefix to their name, with a doctor after PhD, put up with shitty marriages, toxic marriages, because they're not financially independent. I know a lot of women lose their identity after marriage, after kids. So I wanted to empower such women to become financially independent. So that's the mission. And that's why I started this company, and I'm scaling. In 2025, my plan is to grow the team or the number of VAs to 2025. We're bringing a different structure to the whole virtual assistant training, the wing of the business. But that's the kind of game plan that I've got. So if you want to work with my VAs, if you want to work with an agency, like you don't want to hire one person for your video editing, one person for podcast editing, one person for email marketing, one person for CRM setup. We are a one-stop agency that has all these different expertise. So by working with us, you get to work with an entire team of VAs specializing in different things, but you're not going to speak to 10 different people. We've got unique project manager that project manages. You'll be speaking to my project manager, and she will allocate the task to these different people, and you will get your outcome done. So we have worked with a lot of service-based businesses. I tend not to work with product-based businesses. So any service-based businesses that require a virtual assistant, reach out to me. You can contact us using our contact details in the show notes below, and we would love to see how we can help. So we basically sit with you to understand what your business requirement is, and then we can do it. If you're already working with a VA, or if you want to work with a VA, then I'm going to be recording a separate episode on how you can identify what tasks to delegate. If it's your first VA, what are the things you need to be prepared? If you already are working with a VA but you don't know how to train them, if you want to understand whether you're using them to their fullest potential, then that episode is a must listen. Okay, so I'm sure you've done your time audit to find out the tasks that you can delegate. So I definitely want you to understand that focus on the tasks that'll help you grow your business, that'll help you grow as an individual, keep you happy. Time is your most valuable asset. So I really want you to thrive in 2025. So I want you to, remind you about the message. It's not about how much time we have. We know we have very less time left in the world, but it's about how wisely you use it. So I really wish you a very, very happy 2025, and I hope you use your time wisely in this new year and make it a very productive, impactful, and successful new year. I'll see you all in the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to follow, share, leave a review so we know that you love listening to us. And if you are looking at more valuable tips, insights, tools, and resources to help grow your business, please visit pivottothrive.com.au. I will leave links in the show notes below. Just remember, if your current strategy isn't working, you don't have to quit. You just pivot, because the right pivot can make a huge difference. Let's pivot and keep thriving. I'll see you in the next episode.